Hello and welcome to gotstockz. Something is very special happening with Tesla. We need to pay attention to what's going on with Tesla right now. Tesla's been under a lot of pressure for the past several years because they have a lot of competition now that they didn't have before. So going forward, they're still going to have a lot of competition, but they're constantly evolving. They're an innovator. They're evolving into new ideas, and they have a lot going on. We want to look at the technical analysis and the charts. So we're going to look at a few pieces of the puzzle, and by the end of the video, all the pieces of the puzzle are going to complete the puzzle, and then you can determine whether if you want to buy into the stock or not. All right. This is a 6-month daily chart. I just want to show you a couple of things, and that is very, very important. If you look at the past 2 days, look at the volume that has come in on Thursday and Friday. This is pretty insane. Now look at the volume for the past few days. It's in this range down here. So this is something very substantial is happening with Tesla. Big money is coming in. Institutions, the banks, the 401ks, they're beefing it up. This is something that we need to pay attention to. So what we're going to do is we're going to back out of here. We're going to come back to this, but we're going to back out. I want to show you something that's been going on with Tesla for the past few years. When you look at the past few years, 2022, from January to September, we went into a bear market. And at the end of September, we started phasing out into a bull market. And so the end of 2022 going into 2023, we transitioned into a bull market. We've had a couple correction periods, which that's always good and healthy for the market. These are buying opportunities that you want to pay attention to. And here we are at the end of 2024. We're still in a bull market. We are going to connect the top of this range, 414.50, that was established 11/1/2021. Here we are at the end of 2024. Okay, so here we are looking at a 5-year weekly chart of Tesla. As you can see through this range in 2020, Tesla was in a bull market. And then we go into 2021, we had a pretty big retracement here, but we're still off to the races to an all-time high of 414.50. Now this stock has split since then. We had a 5-for-1 split back here, and we had a 3-for-1 split back here. This is adjusted. The high is 414.50. The 5-year weekly low is $20.62. So Tesla has made a lot of people a lot of money. But here's something that you want to think about. Now, if you're into technology and you have ETFs, the VU, well then you own Tesla, then you already own this. But if you're looking to buy this as an individual stock, or if you're looking to trade this as an individual stock, we have to pay attention to this, because in the high of 414.50 that was established in 2021, it's been in a downward bear market for 2022. 2023, it recovered some, but it continued its downward phase in 2024, and we are now breaking out of that. As the stock market has been in a bull market for the past couple of years, Tesla has never recovered from its all-time high. So what we want to look at now is we are going to draw some support and resistance areas that are going to be relevant going forward. So this is going to be a level of resistance. This will be a level of resistance. This will be a level of resistance. This is going to be a level of resistance. And then when we come to this area here, this is going to be a level of resistance. Tesla last week pushed up into this level of resistance. So what's going to happen now is this stock is going to test this area. It should pull back, but it needs to break through this in order to prove itself. We are going to draw a trend line from this 414.45. We're going to come all the way across here with that peak point. And this is something to pay attention to. When it hit this area, it backed off. When it hit this area, it backed off. It never made it here. It hit this area again last year, broke through it, and it backed off. It broke through it. So this has proven several times. Now these are weekly charts, so this area has been touched a lot. And it was touched here, it was touched here, and it just cannot break through this zone. But what has it recently done? Take a look, it broke through the zone here. These trend areas can be broken, and it can establish a new bull run from that point, but it also can break down. As you can see, Several weeks later, this thing broke down below that pivotal trend line. But what has it done? It's broken through it, and now it's rallying, and it's trading above this trend line, which was established in November of 2021. This is a pretty substantial event that has happened with Tesla. And if you want to trade Tesla and you want to be a part of it, you need to pay attention to this. As you zoom in, you can see these areas. We're still on a weekly chart. When it broke through it here, look at this volume down. These guys that were pumping money into Tesla, they knew, and they know a lot more than you and I will ever know about what's going on with this company. And they are backing it up with their dollar. They knew it back then because they pumped in a ton of money. The challenge that Tesla is going to have also going forward, all this is going to be resistance. People have been underwater in this stock for a long time. We're going to come back out of here and we're going to look at a 5-year daily chart. How you have to look at that. So when Tesla was trading back here, when it broke out here, all of these people that purchased this stock above that are underwater. And a lot of these people want to move on. So as this stock trends higher, it's going to have a lot of resistance. That's why you can't just jump in on the stock when you want to jump in on the stock, just to throw a dart on the wall. Do some due diligence, be patient, pick your spot, pick your time. We're going to adjust our trend line based on this information of it breaking through, and that will give us another level of resistance also, but this will give us more information. And what I mean by that is we're going to zoom in now. This area was touched here, this area was touched here, sells off, and here we go. It breaks through the first trend line, and then it breaks through the second, sells off, it breaks back down to the downside. Tesla, the big money, is starting to show its face. So we want to zoom in on this a little bit, and we want to look at some of these areas. So when Tesla broke through the first trend line here, you need to look at this volume that's coming in. Look at the average volume down here is minuscule compared to the big volume that came in on this push up, but it's going to have a lot of resistance and then with a big sell-off. Whatever the catalyst is, you can be an event that happened on TV, it can be earnings, whatever the catalyst is, it doesn't matter. Technical analysis, it's the psychology of the stock. The volume pattern that happened within the stock, that's you and I buying the stock, putting it in our 401k, the institution buying the stock. This is all psychology. So when you're reading charts, you're not just reading data. Look at it as the psychology of people, of what's going on. So to give you an example, look on this day, that's 85 million. This day is 82 million. This day is 78 million, 92 million. So let's just say 80 million shares that the stock is trading on an average daily. 80 million shares traded per day, daily. Now what we want to do is we're going to come in, we're going to focus on this area. What happened here? 135 million showed up to the store. Normally there's 85 million globally in all of the stores of Tesla. On this day, 135 million. The following day, 205 million. The following day, 166 million. The following day, 154 million. The following day, 157 million. Normally 80 million range. Now you have 100% of the volume has increased day by day in this stock, and it pushed all the way up to this resistance, and then it sold off in a massive way. Now, there was a catalyst that caused this. I don't know what that is, and we're not going to dig into that. We want to look at some potential buy areas and what to pay attention to if we want to get in on this stock. And you have to be patient. If you want to get in there and scalp it minute by minute, well, that's very dangerous. And if that's your style, well, good luck with that. All this volume came in, it breaks back down, it retests this area. And these are the trend lines that we drew several years ago. This is resistance. And this right here, you know why we know this is resistance? Because about 80 million shares are sold on an average daily. 221 million shares were sold that day. There was something that happened that created, so you can definitely, when you see that kind of volume come into the downside, stock is going down. How far? Nobody knows that. But as you can see after the fact, it's easy to read the chart and say, sure enough, here we go. But once you learn how to read charts, you're gonna have a good idea of the trend of what's going on. Just like what's going on with Tesla right now is an event that's happening that is very powerful. So what we also want to look at is the stock gap down here after they had their announcement with the robo-taxis. The investors didn't like it, the stock gaps down. And what does it do? It trades in a sideways pattern, 9 days. And then what happens? This was an earning related event that happened. So when we come over to here, we want to take a look at Tesla's earnings. The estimate called for 46 cents a share and the actual was 72 cents a share. So they beat the street, they smoked it. The investors are on board with Tesla. And how do we know this? Because they're putting their money where their mouth is. This is also a very powerful signal. This is called an island bottom. It creates an imbalance in the chart. But what we want to pay attention to We can't get in here because it's coming up to resistance. When are some good areas to buy on this stock? We're going to zoom out a little bit and we're going to come over to here. So the 299, 271, 271.13 will be resistance. If it breaks through this area, our next resistance area is 278. And when it breaks through that area, our next resistance is 291. They gap up and do this in all in 1 to 2 days, absolutely. But when it does that, that is so unhealthy for the stock, and then the correction has to be made. So this gap up and these two big monster push-ups to the upside is very good, but it's also not healthy for the stock. The dust needs to settle with this move. So if you want to buy this stock, this thing play out, it needs to either be break above these resistance areas and then settle back down and show proof of support. We now know this trend line should give us a good support. So this thing can trade all the way down to 210 and still be considered in a healthy uptrend, counter trend rally from this area here. This thing is in a rally and it's pushing up. So we are now in a counter trend rally. We've been in a down phase for months, but we are in a counter trend rally phase. Big volume is coming into the stock. We want to pay attention to that. What we want to do is we want to be patient. If it breaks through this area, then we have to let it settle down to the 271.13. So these are going to be our areas of concern. 271, 278, 299. So we're not buying right now. I'm not buying this right now. Now, I will do another video. I'm probably going to sell some put contracts on this to give you an idea. I want to buy Tesla down here, 220 range. 220 range is going to be an area of interest. 218.72 is going to be an area of interest. Let this stock pull back. It's trading above the trend line. It looks really good. Let this stock pull back. As long as it trades above this trend line, we're in good shape. We have a lot of resistance going forward that we really need to pay attention to. So it's not going to be an easy stock to trade. Tesla is extremely volatile. It always has been, and who knows what the future holds for it. So we have a lot of resistance going forward. So I want to look at 218.72, and then we also want to look at 242.65. Let's see who's voted in as president coming up next month and see how that affects the Tesla stock. You can throw a dart on the wall and keep your fingers crossed and, hey, I made money. You can do that, and you'll make money a lot of times. But that is just a bad strategy, and it's a losing long-term strategy. I'm going to do another video on Tesla, how to play options with this. Now you can sell puts on this, make money on the premium. So when this stock does retrace, you can pick this stock up at a lower price and make money in the process and not even own the stock. But that's going to be a different video. Hopefully this was very helpful. So give us some time, be patient, or throw a dart on the wall and close your eyes and say a little prayer, and good luck with that. That's a very poor strategy. In the long term, I think Tesla for the next several years is going to do very well, but it's yet to be determined. And it's going to be a volatile ride no matter how you look at it. Thank you for tuning in. I hope this was helpful. I enjoy this stuff. I have a passion for it, and hopefully this information can help you in your journey. So always remember to do your own due diligence, dot your I's, cross your T's, and don't forget the Z. God bless and happy investing.